Bacary, hello.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for this amazing welcome.
Hey, now I don't know if Bacary remembers, but actually on Saturday you were my teammate at the game for Ukraine. Right? Probably doesn't remember. I lasted all of 5 minutes before I was absolutely blowing out my anyway. But Bacary, how was that? I want to quickly talk about it. Game for Ukraine, playing with it was like having Arsenal back, wasn't it?
It was super nice to get back on the pitch, first of all. To see a nice grass after so many years, it was nice to see the guys, to find again some intensity and to have been able to play with players I admire so much and just to play football, to do what I love the most. It was nice and have some crowds and I'm looking forward to do it. So I get back to on training and try to make it on shape and trying to stand for a team.
Yeah, 100%. And look, the Emirates Stadium is it's a special place. I'm sure it's a special place for you. When were you here last? When were you here last watching the game?
I usually come maybe twice a year, especially when we play against Man City. And I do some commentary, but it's always difficult for me because I respect both clubs. I play for both, so I have friends from both sides, and it's always an amazing game. So.
We see that trophy over there. We beat Man City. That's for real though. I was going to get onto that later, but when people obviously ask you, you've played for one massive side and City. Are you a gooner? Like, did you when you're not watching Arsenal, are you like trying to find out the score?
There is a saying: always a gooner. Once a gunner, always a gunner, so...
Yeah. And we're going to clip that for Man City's page, so just sorry, you've contractually obliged to that. So, I mean, look, last game's here, and obviously, you're saying you come and watch games. What was it like as a player? Because you really saw in that new era of playing in this new stadium. What was it like trying to build that connection with the fans and in a new stadium?
To be honest, I didn't really have time to think about it. For me, Arsenal has always been the club I was following back home when I was in France. I remember watching the games 3 p.m. On Saturdays because we were playing at 8 p.m. So I was always admirative. It's a club that every single young support in France. And when they contacted me, I was like, oof, it might happen. I might be able to play for one of the biggest clubs in the world. So we went to pre-season in Austria. Everything happened so fast. I started playing during the pre-season, and suddenly you're back here in Emirates, and it's such a big club, such different from what I was used to it, and you see a lot more people. You see a lot of more people working for the club, and you see also a different atmosphere. So I didn't really have time to think about it, and it was even better because it is how it should be. I didn't have time to have pressure. I remember my first game, after a few minutes, we were 1-0 down and we managed to come back, and it was a dream start. So, yes, it's a privilege to have been able to play for Arsenal and Emirates.
Yeah, 100%. Now, look, we're going to get into your playing career in a minute, but right now, I mean, what are you up to? You're living out in Dubai right now, is that right?
Tanning.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
No. I invested into a startup called Gravipack.
Right.
So basically, my partner found a new technology on backpacks, which is a load decrease of 92%. So it's patent. We have 11 international patents. We are focusing on school bags, hiking bags, anything with a loading. We managed to get a load decrease of 92%. So we are developing this. On the side, I built myself an app, football app. So basically, I'm trying to give back my whole knowledge, football knowledge. So it's split in 4 training session, individual training session, collective. So wow. I reproduce all the training session I got to do with French national team, Man City, Arsenal, and I'm trying to give it back to amateur football. I talk about mental health, wellness, injuries. I explain injuries to kids. What is a twist ankle? They need to understand, and I try to provide them rehab sessions. Talk about contract because I would like everyone that has kids to understand and try to protect the kids because football is nice, but sometimes it can be a bit difficult for parents to understand, and you need to be protected and you need to protect your kids because it's not always nice. So, and I do analysis. So I talk about games, I reproduce actions, I try to explain what we see as a professional football players.
Yeah.
And I would like the people to understand it. So
I love it. And the best thing is I mean, if you need an investor, I mean, you were a teammate of Mathieu Flamini. I had to. I'm sorry. What is he? Multi-billion? Anyway, he didn't need to go to Saudi Arabia, did he? Look, and so that is fantastic, and obviously, you know, it means a lot to you. You were talking about their contractual situations, and you know, people, you know, getting into the game and knowing that there's another side to it outside of playing. And with that in mind, the new signings that we've got, you know, we kind of had a lot of fans had their first taste of seeing, you know, Jurrien Timber, Kai Havertz, Declan Rice playing on Sunday. I mean, what do you think those signings are going to bring to Arsenal?
I think they all fit perfectly. Talking about Timber, I think technically he's very good. He's very powerful. He's good on 1v1, and he even played on the left side, which is not his preferred position, but he did very well. He was man of the match for a reason.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rice has been cutting many City action. He was always at the right place at the right time, and he's a type of player that can shine. It's difficult for him because, you know, he has such a big price tag that he has to play with it. But I think he's doing well with it, and he's going to be very useful for the club. And Havertz, I was surprised to see him playing centre forward, but I would have thought he would have struggled physically, but not at all. He was very smart, and he's a kind of technical player, skillful player. He managed to get some chances. He didn't score, unfortunately, but it was a good point.
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic, and you know, as a player, something that we've seen with you know, Arsenal this summer certainly is there looks like there's going to be more depth, more competition for places. When you were at a club like, you know, you're playing for a club like Man City, where there are an influx of players coming in, or even with Arsenal, you know, there's new signings coming in. Did you find that depth actually made everyone else better? Do you think signings like Rice, you know, you look at, oh, where's Jorginho going to play? Where's Partey going to play? Do you think that will elevate and not kind of, you know, worry players? Are you looking over your shoulder, is what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure, you have to. You know, it's not good always to be in a comfortable position. You need to get out of your comfort zone if you want to be performing and stay at the top, you know. After every game, you need to think about the next one. Yeah. This is probably what is the most difficult things to do in football, is to withdraw what happened, because you cannot change, good or bad, and you need to focus on the next one. That will probably happen 3 days later now with all the games. So it's a constant pressure, but we have to deal with it if you want to be playing at the top. So the players will surely like it. It's a fair competition, healthy competition, I want to be saying, and I think the club need more than 11 players that can maybe play at the top and keep the level of the team. And talking about last season, I think this is quite cost the title to Arsenal. When Saliba went injured, we could see the defense was a bit shaky. When Gabriel Jesus was a bit injured, also you couldn't really score goals.
Yeah.
It happened, but we needed to rely on Saka.
Yeah.
But we saw that when he was a bit tired, he was less effective and created less chances. So you surely need depth in the squad, and this was the strength of Man City today.
Yeah, and you know, your move into elite football, which is, you know, what I would call it in terms of playing for teams like an Arsenal, that did obviously start with Arsene Wenger, you know, and playing under a manager like that. Do you remember that first interaction that you had? Yeah,
for me, you know, my English was okay. I could understand. But coming here with everything different, it's a different country, different accent. So I was lucky enough to be surrounded by French-speaking people.
Yeah.
And Arsene, the coach, was one of them. Sorry. Just natural. He's so human with us. Every time we're a bit down, or maybe if we make a mistake, he's making sure we're okay mentally, because he knows the pressure we're having, and he's trying to understand, and he's trying to communicate with us and to make us forget, because he knows we have to play well the next game. And something that shocked me for a coach is to see the proximity he have with the players. You know, sometimes we're at the training ground talking about any kind of sports, about Rafael Nadal playing in one of the tennis competition, and he will just come go around, shake everyone's hand, and just sit with us and talk about tennis,
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen. As a coach, you don't see this.
I think, there's a lot of, as well, where you see statues being put out for ex-pros or, ex-managers, etc. That statue that is out there now for Arsene, do you think there couldn't be a more deserving person? Do you think he has all those accolades to deserve that recognition?
Yeah, 100%. He deserves, even in the middle of the pitch,
Yeah.
It's he played a big part in Arsenal Football Club, in us players, and he's still charismatic. And every time I see him, he has such a positive aura that.
Do you still call him coach when he's here?
Yes, of course. Respect.
Do you still get a little bit nervous, or is it friendly?
Yeah, it's still the same. He's so charismatic, I'm a bit shy also, so.
I love it. And look, what was a pre-season like with Arsene Wenger?
Difficult.
Really? Go on, talk me through a pre-season during your seasons.
Well, you usually used to have a screening day where we have all the heart rate checked, running session checked. Everything you need to the minimum has to be checked in the first days, to see where we're standing.
Yeah.
And then we go to Austria running a lot.
Yeah.
It is a tough part of the preseason. For 2 weeks is very difficult, morning and afternoon, but you need to go through it if you want to be performing. So we used to spend a lot of time together with the squad, the team members, the physios, the players. And this is a build-up of getting into a new season in a perfect shape and very positively. So, yeah.
Do you think when professional players, obviously you've got friends that are playing for other clubs, are you on the phone to them being like, oh man, we're running so much, like literally, like what's your pre-season been like?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We're all in the same position. Now football has changed. It's a lot about football conditioning with the ball. Back in the days, we used to run so much. But, after a while, you feel good. You don't have fatigue. You don't feel fatigue. And you're able to repeat efforts on the pitch because you have to go up and down constantly. And if you're not ready, it's a problem.
In pre-season, we do end up seeing a lot more young players getting some game time. What do you think it takes to be a young player? There were young players that during your time at Arsenal that you saw come through the ranks and really kind of progress on and become legends at the club. What do you think it takes for a young player to become a pro and a legend at Arsenal?
Confidence. Players need to be wise, and patient. Most of the time, the young players, they want to get to play. They want some time to play. They don't want to be on the bench. But there is a time for everything, and you need, I believe, to see how it is when you down the pitch, when you're on the bench, because when you're on the stand, it looks slow. But when you actually go down on the pitch, you see that every single angle is different. And you see the pace of the game is very fast. And I only noticed when I got injured, when I broke my leg. I went up with my family and I was like, what is he doing? Why is he so slow? But it's a perception we have as a fan. When you understand, when you're on the pitch, it's a lot faster. And I think it's really important for young players to be able to analyze this, maybe to learn from the one playing. The way I started in Auxerre was similar to this. I spent 1 year on the bench and I didn't even play 1 minute. But I want to say it's probably the best and the most important year of my life because the one playing was the best right back of the league. So I got to learn so much looking at him, trying to see how he was getting close to players, going forward, defending, his positioning, being in line with other players. And players need to surely learn from watching games and be patient.
Yeah, 100%. And look, the players that are out there now, you mentioned Saka a minute ago, and you said, at the end of last season, there was a lot of fatigue, I think, and a lot of legs. Do you think, is there such a thing of too much football in players? We're seeing people getting played constantly, whether or not that's going out playing, a Nations League game or internationals or League Cup, FA Cup, Champions League, anything. Is that a thing? Do you think players are thinking like that too?
I think it's just too much. The body can't take too much. Of course, we are built to repeat efforts, but playing every 3 days is very demanding, mentally and overall physically. You know, we only have 48 hours to recover and repeat 90 minutes of games. I think the pressure, little injuries, little tension is too much for the players. And you can't blame players for maybe having 6-7 games at the high level and just missing a game, you know. I think people need to understand how demanding it is to be always at the top physically. So maybe, and I'm sure you understand that football is very demanding and it's still the best job in the world. I'm not complaining, but with all these games, it's very, very difficult. And when you have the time to rest, when the league is off, it's when we go national team. So we finish the game on Saturday, we have to be in Paris when I was playing for the national team on Sunday. And suddenly you attack the next day with the French national team for 10 days. And when you finish, you go back here, Thursday morning, and 48 hours, you have to play again. So it's very demanding.
Yeah, and you know, that is, again, why we see so many players, well, I like to think, Jordan Henderson, moving to Saudi Arabia, but you know, less kind of stress, I guess, more money, maybe less competition. I mean, what do you make of this whole Saudi Arabia thing? You know, like, given you're at the end of your playing career now, would that have been a project that you would have looked at? Would that have been something that you look at now and go, you know, why are they moving there? Is it exciting?
Let's be honest, it's just moving for the money.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
But at that stage, I think it's not about them anymore. It's about how many lives they can change. Thousands of lives by just a move. So if I'm honest, I would have probably done the same because I could have changed 1,000 lives behind me. So building schools, bringing healthcare in Africa or other countries, Asia, in South America. I could have done so much with it, and I would have probably thought about this.
Yeah. And do you think that it is a league that is going to gain some traction? Do you think that we could see a point where the Saudi Arabian League is on TV and we're watching it every week?
Well, attracting all these players will surely attract more sponsors. The TV right might be higher. So it's a business. Football is a business. It's not only sport. It's a total business. And you could see clubs getting more sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
Al Nassr, that was with an unknown brand, is with Nike now because of Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And you see social media jump. So everything become bigger. And surely, we're surely going to have the Saudi League on TV. I won't be surprised.
And you know, sometimes we laugh about it and we say about, you know, the Saudi League, oh, it's not got the class that we have here, and you know, in terms of certain rights and laws and around LGBTQ, etc. But one thing I know that the AST have been able to do is try to eliminate, especially within, you know, Arsenal fans and within our world, is eliminate, you know, homophobia, eliminate racism and things like that. Shockingly, still within a crowd like this, you know, as a player, was that something that you ever kind of came under scrutiny for?
It's all about education. We need to respect each other, no matter the gender, no matter the religion, the skin color. It's all about respect and how you get raised and educated. And to me,
Were you ever shocked that thing was still a part of football? Do you remember that first time that you were ever maybe a victim of racism, as you say, or any form of abuse from the stands?
It happened so many times, but it has never been a problem for me. To me, everything happened on the pitch. I block myself, I put myself in my own bubble when I played. Of course, you hear... especially when you play against Tottenham.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
You hear a lot, but I used this at my own benefits. For me, to play in such a negative environment helped me performing because I had one idea is to win and make them feel stupid. So it was never an issue for me to receive or to get swearing. I never had any problem with this. I respect myself. I got respect from my parents, from my friends that love me, so that was enough.
Perfect. And you know, you had some incredible memories as an Arsenal player. There are many great games that you played in. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to try and get you to narrow it down to top 3 Arsenal memories.
Well, the signing has to be part of it. When I discover the Premier League, Emirates Stadium, the fans for the first time. The FA Cup, of course.
Yep.
But it was difficult for me to be on the pitch that day because I knew it was my last day. So it was a mix of emotions, especially after 10 minutes to kneel down.
Yeah.
It was in my head Hiroshima, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to lose a game. To me, I was not going to lose a game. I was not going to lose my last game for the club. And thanks God, we didn't lose. We won. And
it was a great day.
And if I have to pick a third one, was Inter Milan game, I will say.
Say that again.
AC Milan game.
AC Milan, yes.
I'm not going to talk about Tottenham games, that's easy.
Yeah, of course. yeah.
But we were all young, you know, we were facing the mountain.
Yeah.
But we show audacity and character, so for me it was a good highlight. And also it was probably 1 week after losing my brother, so it was very emotional for me, and it was a good push, you know.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of us as fans we forget. You know, that you do actually have personal lives, and you have stuff going on in your family. You know, doing something like that, as you say, you lose your brother the week before, and going out there and stepping onto the pitch. Are you using that as an outlet for your emotion?
First, it's a bit of shock, especially when you don't expect. But I don't know if you remember, we played against Man United.
Yep.
We lost 8-2. This is why I didn't.
Yep, I remember
talk
that.
about it. It didn't come out on the press. But shortly after, we played home game against the first leg of the game of Champions League against AC Milan.
Yeah.
And I remember Arsene Wenger calling me and bringing me support. I remember having so much support from players, and to me, to get back here and not go Africa was a must. I always try to put the club forward, and I was like, you know what, you have an issue, but this is your task. This is what they got you, and in difficult moments, you still need to be there and fight for the team. So I decided to come and play the game. But to me, it was natural, and I had to do it, so I did it, and I will do it again. And you know, it's actually bringing you strength. Anything can happen, you build up for it. So it was a bad moment, but when I saw the support from everyone, it was also a good memory. So,
oh man, yeah,
you know?
really powerful. Yeah, 100%. Now, you played with some great players at Arsenal. Did you have a favourite?
Cazorla.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cazorla aside, you also played with Arteta, right? So you played with Mikel. I mean, when you were there, was he always? He's not here, is he? Was he always the teacher's pet? Like, was he that?
Always right.
Did you know he was gonna be the coach that he is?
You feel if someone is made for it, you feel it. I remember getting into his house because I was close to his family and my kids also, watching the Clásico, Real Madrid-Barca, and the first thing he will do is jump on me and tell me, oh, Bac, you see, they're playing in 5-3-2 or 4-4-2, and I was like, I'm just coming to see the game, give me some tips. You know? And you have this type of players that are obsessed with the game.
Yeah.
They talk about tactics, about who's going to start. He was telling me, oh, who do you think will play on the right? So I don't know. You know, that's in him. And even with a young player, always trying to push them, trying to force them to go and have massage, to recover, to sleep early. And it's in him, and I think you guys can see it.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, when you were playing with him on the pitch, was he as vocal as he is? I mean, maybe as we saw on Sunday.
No, first of all, I used to hate him.
Why?
When he was in Everton, he's the type of player that will fight and do everything for his club, for his team. And he was one of them, like always complaining about the ref, always trying to put pressure on the ref. And he always put the team forward, always trying to give his best for the team as a player and as a coach. And he's doing it now with a referee. If one of his players is injured, it's like if he got injured, like if it's one of the kids.
Yeah.
And you need someone passionate and you need someone that identified to the club. And I think he was a perfect fit as a coach for Arsenal.
I love it. And looking forward to this season, I mean, I've got to ask you for a prediction.
Yes. I said 2 years ago that Arsenal will be champion last season. It was very close for different reasons. I think if they had won or not lost the direct confrontation against City, they would have been champion. From the minute they lost at home 3-1, you know how it is. The press is on you.
Yeah.
And you see the negative press and the pressure is on you. So I believe if they have managed to win the game or draw the game, they would have been champion. And you have moments in a season where you have to be strong, and they will surely try to correct this and get stronger, but they have a chance to be champion. They have a fantastic squad. They have a good combination with a board. This is a board that understands football from A to Z. They have a sport director that understands football, that have played the game, so he perfectly understands who is a targeted player. And I think it's really important in modern football to have someone that played the game and a coach that played the game, because at least they understand players' decision, mindset. They will understand everything. And I think the way the board has picked people around the club is spot on, and this is why it's back at the best.
You heard it from Bacary Sagna, we're going to win the league. Bacary, thank you so much. You're going to help me out with a raffle later on, but until then, I'll let you head back, but thank you so much, man. I'll see you in a second.